And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
Not good. Believe me, not good. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
It was an amazing phone call, and 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest, and then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest, and I just spoke to my people.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is though? It's definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody else.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, what they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
Look, talk about education. Does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help, they don't know quite what to do. Play the radio, make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone, make sure the kids hear words.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil. The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan. And it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Dumb people, liberal people. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I'm going to take a position. Let me just tell you, I get along with everybody, which is my obligation to my company, to myself, etc. Obviously, the war in Iraq is a big, fat mistake, all right?
Hello, users, and welcome to the early morning edition of Above It All. I am streaming at 9 today. It's actually 9:06 as of this current, moment in time. But streaming at 9 today because I've got a prior engagement at the normal streaming time. So it appears that not that many people are awake this early in the live chat, but that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. That's cool. Hello, Mr. Freak Glitcher. Hello, JL. Hello, Felix Cornelius. Welcome to the live stream. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm still drinking my coffee, etc. And it's a little, it's a little bit more morning for me. Yeah. Mr. Freak says, surely it's a post-engagement if it's after the show. Well, it's a prior engagement as of. I actually made this engagement before I even started live streaming Above It All. Like, that's how prior of an engagement this is. This engagement was positioned back before I even did these in a live stream. So, damn, right? That's some pretty old school engagements. Hello, Skeletino. Stopping in to say hi. And grats on the grift. I'm finna hit the hay soon. Well, can you, hold on another 30 minutes or so? Come on. I'm sorry. I'm really... there's somebody being extremely dumb on Twitter right now, and I'm having a lot of fun. Just reading this. Oh my god. It's my brain is breaking. Anyway, so today there's the big thing I'm going to talk about today is going to be the Neera Tanden thing. Got a couple different things that I've seen, and goddamn. Anyway, I'm gonna get off Twitter. I'm so sorry. Anyway, dumb person, liberal person. No, there's this dude, there's this individual on Twitter that is doing this thing where it's like, if you voted for Biden, then you're a terrible person and you need to be canceled for all eternity. And they're just like posting like literal Gish Gallop on Twitter. Like every time I load Twitter, I've got like 7 new notifications, and it's this person like copying and pasting random book quotes that makes them feel like special or something. It really is just not good. It's not good.
Dumb people, liberal people.
I really...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
I'm really sick of these fucking... It's like, you're not a real leftist because you post on Twitter about Joe Biden. It's like, what? Like, I just like the thought process, again, I love studying human beings as like science experiments. I love, like, when it comes to MAGA people, I love to know like the inner chemistry of how their brains work. Like, here's the thing. I have this clip here. Where is it? Is it this one? Yes. So the one where Donald Trump is talking about running against the worst candidate in the history of candidates right here.
Running against the worst candidate.
So you see this sign in the background, no more wars. There's a sign in the background of Donald Trump, no more wars. No more wars. So like, how is someone capable, like how is their brain capable of standing behind Donald Trump with a sign saying no more wars, and your best friend next to you has Veterans for Trump? How is that possible? Right? Like, there's so much going on there that it's like, it's incredible to me. And then there's this like other kind of like, these like Twitter like college kid lefties that think they're like smarter than everyone else because they like read a One News article about how Joe Biden caucused with Strom Thurmond, and it's like, yeah, Joe Biden is garbage, right? But like, it's just like, it's so shocking to me that someone can simultaneously, like, again, agree, no more wars, Trump 2020, and then they can also say, like, oh, Biden is the worst thing possible, but also Trump is the worst thing possible. Like, what? Like, I don't know, like, the cognitive dissonance, I suppose, is very powerful. And there's not necessarily a problem with cognitive dissonance as long as it's like a self-aware thing and it's managed. But like, when you have two completely opposing ideologies that you believe at the same time, it's like super bizarre to me. And so like this person on Twitter is saying that if I voted for Joe Biden, which takes 30 seconds, right? And I know I'm punching left here, I'm sorry. I'm not punching left. I'm punching down. Like, there's no horizontal direction here. I am punching down. But I know I'm punching down here. But this person says, because I voted for Joe Biden in a swing state and it took 30 seconds, it is now illegal for me to perform mutual aid. Like, if I wanted to give my neighbor a bread basket, that's illegal now because I took 30 seconds out of my day, like a month ago, to vote for a presidential candidate. I can no longer provide mutual aid. So, for example, if there's a pothole on my street and I have the tools to fix it, it is actually illegal for me to fix it. I cannot fix it. The laws of nature, the rules of the reality that we live in, gravity, like the laws of physics, itself preventing me from doing so. That's what these people think. Like, and that's what's so bizarre about them. And like, we have this time right now where there's this like, and maybe I want to make more videos about it. I don't know. I don't want to like seem like I'm a fucking holier than thou piece of shit. I really don't. Hello, Max. Max the dog is here. See, Max the dog. I don't want to seem like I'm a holier than thou piece of shit when it comes to that kind of stuff. And, you know, if you don't vote for Biden, I don't give a fuck, right? But my thing is like, holy shit, man, these people, like, and they're all like college kids. Like, they're all like 22 years old, which is like no problem. Like, I have no problem if you're a young, I'm young, right? And I have very passionate belief systems, right? But my passionate belief systems are actually founded in something. Like, they're founded in like actually something, you know? So it's like, it's a little bizarre. It's definitely a little bizarre. Um, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm indulging in this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really hate dullards. The Daily Dullard is this random person on Twitter right now that I'm not going to give them any name recognition because they're dumb. But the Daily Dullard, everybody. So let's actually get into the news. I'm sorry for that little distracting opening. I just, man, these guys are really fucking dumb. And this is like why I'm so rough on Skeptical Mantis when he comes in here, right? Like, when Skeptical Mantis comes in here and says, like, voting for Biden is, like, pure evil or whatever, like, I've gotten him to bounce back a little bit on that one. But it's, like, I just, like, it's dumb. It's dumb. And, like, I can get it, like, you know, it's November 1st, right? It's November 1st, the election's in a couple days, right? I get it, right? Like, whatever. But the election was a month ago. Like, the election was a month ago. Like, it's over. It's done. Like, if you are more interested in mutual aid, hello? Is this thing on? I have no idea if my computer is functioning. All of my browsers are broken at this current moment. I have no idea if I'm streaming. No idea. This is bizarre. I've never had this happen before. So just give me a second. If you can hear me, that is. Give me a second. This is weird. This is so strange. This is so strange. Am I streaming right now? I have no idea what's happening. Is this on? Okay, it looks like it's on. My computer, like all of my screens just turned black. And then they turned back on. And everything was off. I have no idea what just happened. Like, I have 3 monitors. They all just flickered black. And then when they turned back on, OBS was off. And like my browsers were minimized, but I couldn't maximize them. That was really strange. That was really weird. So that kind of ruined my audio podcast a little bit, because now the recording is broken. I'm gonna have to get the recording from YouTube. That sucks. That really sucks. Holy mackerel. Damn, bro. I hate that. Hate when that happens. Hate when that happens. But whatever. Anyway, the show has been garbage up until this point, so it doesn't really matter. Let's actually move on with actual news and substance instead of just talking about, like, I'm sorry for blogging about Twitter fights. I don't know. I just, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating to see these, like, 18-year-olds who think that they figured out the world. And it's like, I mean, I get it. Like, if someone else is saying, like, oh, man, the black people have different sized skulls. Like, yeah, go after that dude. Like, that guy's a piece of garbage. But if someone's saying, like, oh, yeah, I voted in the presidential election, and I love to give my neighbors bread baskets. That's not the guy. That's not the person that you go after. Like, that's not, like, enemy number one. Like, this person is doing exactly what I told them to do. But they voted in the presidential election? Cancel. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you are that person, then I suggest therapy, I suppose. I mean, what else is there besides therapy that could possibly improve your life in any capacity? I'm not sure. Yo, my computer is like not functioning at all. I'm at 100% CPU right now. Again, this happened the other day. I was at 100% CPU. And now it's happening again. This is like really unfortunate because I don't know what's causing this. And this is the second time in a week that this has happened. Where just nothing works. Like, just nothing works. This is very frustrating to me at this current moment. I clicked on a tab. Okay, it just took 15 seconds. On my browser, it took 15 seconds for a mouse input to function. 15 seconds. I clicked a button. 15 seconds went by before that actually went through. I have no idea what's going on. This is extremely frustrating for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm so sorry for this. This is like, I thought I was gonna do an early show, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do that, and then now my fucking shit's falling apart. So it's like my early show has been ruined, and it's kind of like for no reason. Better add no new computer to the grift fund. Hey Lilith, it took me, look, I'm not even joking, I saw your chat message. It took, again, 15 seconds before your profile picture loaded. I reset my computer about an hour ago. Like, I turn it off every single night. So that's why it's weird. Like, I turn my computer off every single night. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, this time it took 3 seconds. I think it's getting a little better. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I have no idea. I'm literally 98% CPU. 100% CPU? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Do I have uploading or downloading in the background? I don't think so. Let me, like, delete everything. Like, let me just delete everything. Turn everything off that I'm not using currently. Motherfucking SVC host. Fuck you. I don't have, like, anything on. It's just my internet browser, a fucking file folder, and OBS. That's it. That's all I've got on. Oh, I'm back down to 33%. Okay. How many browser tabs do I have open? Not that many. Alright, everything's working again. Okay, everything's working. Alright, let's just pretend nothing's happening. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, while everything is working, and I don't know how long it's going to be working, I'm going to try to speed run this show before my computer breaks again. Alright, let's go. Anyway, so here's an update to last night. Not last night, actually. This was yesterday. This was before the night. I issued a challenge to a fellow YouTuber by the name of Vaush. And so Vaush decided to not acknowledge my debate challenge. Which is actually illegal. It's actually illegal, believe it or not, in the battlefield of ideas. It is illegal for Vaush to not acknowledge my debate challenge. And I would just like to say that at the time, I said that he has until sundown to respond to my debate challenge. Now, he could have just said no, and then, you know, we could have gone from there. But he did not even acknowledge my reply, which is a little distressing that someone could be so flagrantly violating the rules and ethics of the battlefield of ideas. But I just want this to be known. Vaush is a coward. Vaush is a loser. And he's canceled officially. And I just want that to be understood. I know I've got a lot of cross-pollination in my audience. People have been saying, talk to Vaush, talk to Vaush. Well, I tried. And he violated the rules and ethics of the battlefield of ideas. This guy is a flagrant abuser of the rules. And I think something needs to be done. So, if you're a Vaush fan that follows me, I'm sorry. I did it. I gave my best. I tried. You know what? Like, you can't say I didn't try. So now it's like you got to really have a reckoning with yourself. Like, do I still like Vaush? Is that possible? Do I still like Vaush? Is it possible that I could possibly like Vaush? I mean, he ignored my second favorite YouTuber or my favorite YouTuber, whatever I am in your little ranking list. Clearly, I'm either 1 or 2 in this situation, right? That's weird, right? That's super strange behavior. So, Vaush is canceled officially. And you can post this on Reddit too. Someone posted my video on Reddit, and it was really funny because a bunch of Vaush fanboys got extremely upset. Because I guess those people don't really have a sense of humor, which is like a little shocking, given how Vaush's whole like internet identity is like, look at me, I'm edgy and I'm funny, and then like all of his fans are like, not that. That's really weird. But anyway, I tried, everybody. I tried. So Vaush, if you're out there, if you'd like to revoke your status as a coward, I'm willing to hear you out. I'm willing to give you a hearing. But honestly, again, this is such a flagrant disregard of the rules of the free marketplace of ideas that I don't really know if there is a coming back from this outside of jail time, of course. But either way, once the gulags are created, I think Vaush is officially on the list, and that's unfortunate because I was really interested in having an exchange of ideas with this individual. The people have told me he's like such a smart individual. He's one of the great philosophers of our time, and all of a sudden, just flagrantly violating the rules of debate. So, really sad, low energy stuff, and just all around not good. All around not good.
No good, really bad for you.
All around, just really bad stuff. Hey, Cloud. Chef John from Food Wishes. Amazing. Probably voted for Biden, too. Doubly canceled. Oh, my God. Yeah, so again, I'm sorry about the whole everything breaking thing. Really sucks. But here's another problem. My browser's not working. Like, my display capture, is not functional. It's not functional. So I'm going to try to, like, fix that, real quick. But I don't know if I can without restarting OBS again. Right? You might be thinking, holy shit, how many times, right? How many times is this fucking bitch-ass bitch going to restart the motherfucking shit? I don't know. I have no idea how many times I'm going to restart this motherfucking shit. But, like, apparently I'm going to have to restart it again. Hello, Raul. Tejada? I'm just guessing here. Your graphics driver probably crashed, so try updating them later. That's possible. Thank you, Mr. Cool Eyes. So I'm going to have to restart OBS again. I'm so sorry. I will be taking a short break. Yes. Yes, I will be taking a short break. Is this thing back on? Is this back on? Is the break over? By the time this starts, it'll be the regular Above It All start time. Hey, I already started, technically. I got through, one thing I wanted to talk about. So, already technically started. But yeah, I'm so sorry for this. Okay, so I think everything is fixed. I think everything is good. Let's get this show on the road, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to wait for 10 more seconds. That way, this is easier for me to synchronize a little later. So, bada boom. Okay, all right. So, here's the President of the United States, and this is yesterday. The President of the United States, the lovely, the beautiful Donald J. Trump. Just amazing. Look at that smile on that photoshopped image that they throw on Fox News there. This is what he has to say about the governor of Georgia. Let's listen.
Which everything has to be approved by the legislature. And they had judges making deals, and they had electoral officials making deals, like this character in Georgia
This character. They were making deals? What kind of deals?
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
That's when Brian Kemp should have stopped, at the deal standpoint.
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
Bad deal?
And they had electoral officials making deals, like this character in Georgia who's a disaster. And the governor's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. I'm ashamed that I endorsed him. But I look at what's going on. It's so terrible, which everything has to be approved by the legislature.
I'm ashamed I endorsed him. I love that. Look at this character.
And the governor's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. I'm ashamed that I endorsed him. But
I'm ashamed that I endorsed them. Destroyed.
No good.
Destroyed. Holy shit. So that's Brian Kemp currently on political suicide watch after daring to not after daring to I guess just I don't know what he's doing actually. I have no idea what Brian Kemp is doing. I guess he's doing nothing, I guess. Is what the criticism is. I guess we have a character of unknown variety, a character is on the loose in Georgia. I'm assuming that the president is referring to the Secretary of State, but he just says we have a character in Georgia. So there's a character on the run. If you live in Georgia or maybe in South Carolina or somewhere on the border of Georgia or Florida, and you see a character on the loose, definitely try to call your local authorities. Maybe you can try to call the President Trump hotline, that 1776 number that they had a couple weeks ago. But there's a character on the loose. And for some reason, the governor of Georgia will not capture this character that's just been running rampant on society lately. Really bad stuff going on. But again, the tearing apart of the Republican Party here, the actual substance of this, is actually pretty fun. We'll see how this affects the runoff. Because again, all they really need to do, this whole plan is to make Republicans think that elections are fraudulent. That's the plan. That's their plan. That's their strategy. Right? And you have these groups in Georgia saying, we're not going to vote unless they have Donald Trump as president. We're going to boycott the runoff unless they install Donald Trump as dictator. And then someone in the crowd said, death to tyrants, as they were trying to install a dictator and a tyrant, right? You know, again, the cognitive dissonance is incredible. It's like having the No More Wars sign at a Trump rally. It's like, what? Okay. Anyway, this is really good because all they really need to do is scrape off like 2 or 3 percentage points, and then both John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock will just win. The polling, and again, I'm in a love-hate relationship with the polling right now. Like, let me just tell you, the polling not good. Okay, the polling is not good, but polling indicates that at least for Loeffler is probably sunk. I don't think Loeffler's going to win. Perdue probably has the better chance of winning. Let's be honest, he's a man, so that's probably why. And so, again, all we really need to do is scrape off a couple percentage points. That's all you need. Because I think it was like 49 to 47 for Perdue versus Ossoff. So if you just scrape off 2 percentage points and then Ossoff does a little bit better, there you go. Now, let's be honest. Voter turnout, not going to be as high as it was during the general election. So really, this is where you're at in a situation is you need to get those Republican voters to just fuck off. You need to get them to fuck off. And the easiest way to do that is to convince them that the elections are fraudulent and that they don't matter. So thank you, Donald Trump, for doing our job being everyone else, I guess. And I guess Donald Trump is really trying to capture this character running around. So let me just play that again.
Georgia, who's a disaster. Like this character in Georgia, who's a disaster.
There's a character in Georgia. They're a disaster, apparently. This character is just... The idea that Donald Trump, the President of the United States, is going to say, this character in Georgia, like, that's one of those things that if you just read that on a transcript, right, and the quote wasn't attributed to Donald Trump, and you just read, like, a random human being saying, quote, and this character in Georgia, you'd be like, what? But then when you like, oh, it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is talking about the character. It's like, oh, okay. The character in Georgia.
Like this character in Georgia, who's a...
This fucking character? Oh my god, dude. I love characters. Holy shit. Hello, Blarg. Hey, Y2K, huh? Y2K, huh? Why did your boy, Vaush, not respond to my debate request? Y2K, huh? You gotta, kick this guy back in line. Crack out the whip or something. Violated the Rules and Ethics Committee's 2020 guidelines on debate in the battlefield of ideas. Hello, Andrea. I don't understand why you are so full of hate. This is one thing that's really bizarre to me. And I'm going to pontificate on this, so thank you. This is something that's super bizarre to me. Is this like conservative MAGA thing where they say you're full of hate? Right? I get this a lot. Is like if I talk about how Donald Trump's Medicaid cuts, for example, are affecting real people, or how Donald Trump's lack of a stimulus package is affecting real people, I get accused of hate. Oh, you just hate the president? Like, oh, why do you hate conservatives so much? You're so full of hate and anger. You're so angry all the time. That's what conservatives love to tell people. And it's like one of those weird projection things. Because again, I'm a trans YouTuber. I get death threats on a daily basis, right? I get people telling me to kill myself literally every single day, right? If I look at my email, right, I have to sift through comments of people telling me to kill myself. And all of these people who do so, right, maybe there's a couple Kamala Harris fans of the K-Hive, right? But a significant majority, let's say 95%, right, that have sent me death threats are Trump voters. They're Trump people, right? These are guys that love Trump, right? So the idea that a Trump supporter is going to be like, oh, Trump is about love, peace and love, Donald Trump. Why do you hate? What do you hate? All you do is hate. It's like, what? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. And again, this is like, I think it's like one of the religious things. I think that this is like one of those like kind of like, these are like the evangelicals for Trump kind of a situation, where it's like they support Trump because they think that Trump is like pro-life or something, even though Trump got fetal tissue injected into him during his coronavirus treatment, right? Or yeah, again, the people about the economy. Whenever someone says, who's a Trump voter, whenever they say, right, oh, but I voted for Trump because the economy, bro. They don't know what that means. If you ask them a follow-up question, what does the economy mean? They will give you an answer that you've never heard before and that does not make sense in the English language. They'll be like, well, you know, the stock, and then you'll be like, do you own stock? And they'll be like, no, but my uncle's brother does, and then the stock, and then the minimum wage, and then the tax, and then I made money because the tax, and then, but wait, no, like they don't know what the economy means. They have no idea what the fuck that means, and that's one of those words like liberty, freedom. Right? It doesn't mean anything. Like, they just paraded, and deficit, that's another word. It literally means nothing. If someone says deficit, I'm sorry, you can just ignore whatever they're saying immediately, because that word doesn't mean anything. If someone says, oh, we have to preserve liberty, that doesn't mean anything. Oh, the economy. What? That doesn't mean anything. How is there an economy when 40% of people can't pay their rent? How is there an economy? What does that mean? An economy? Oh, yes, the economy. What? There is no economy. When people are being evicted and eating fucking soup on the fucking like sidewalk because they have no house, there is no economy, okay? The economy is out the fucking window, right? But this somehow the Trump coalition just has, right? It just has this kind of like bizarre thing where you have a bunch of people who never go outside of their bubble. And like when they accuse, oh, why do you hate? Why do you hate? Why do you hate? When they do that, that's probably the first time ever that they've stepped out of their bubble, and they're wearing like a hazmat suit, right? So when you respond to them, nothing you say is going to stick. They've got a hazmat suit on, right? It's like the Bubble Boy episode in Seinfeld where they've got like the little gloves, right? And you stick your hands through the gloves to like, you know, use the remote or whatever. It's like the Bubble Boy episode of Seinfeld. That's what these people are. They're bubble boys, all right? Like, I'm not even joking. And what we need to do is we need to take a lesson from George Costanza, and we need to pop that motherfucking bubble, all right? Because there's no other way that you can have like human beings, right? Why do you hate? You hate. Why? While like fellow Trump supporters are marching with tiki torches saying Jews will not replace us. How? Like, what? But the Democrats, they hate. Like it. Oh, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Genuinely expertly crafted analogy. Thank you. We need to pop the bubble. Someone shave my face, please. Oh my god. Y2K How? Watch the clip I'm going to upload about Vouch later, if you want context. I heard one of them say racism is real. It's all about slaving white males, spitting on them in the streets. I mean, I wish. That sounds pretty good. That sounds good to me. It's like those recent AOC memes where like she's stepping on like images of like Jeff Bezos and Rand Paul, and she's got like a whip or whatever, and Republicans are like, this is what's gonna happen if you vote for the left. And it's like, alright, I'll vote for the left. Sign me the fuck up. Like, either I'll be whipped by AOC or I do the whipping. Either way, I'm fine with that situation. So sign me the fuck up right there. Jesus Christ. But why do you hate? You hate. It's ridiculous stuff, dude. It's not good. Speaking of things that aren't good. Speaking of things that aren't good. I'll take AOC with a side of a whip. I'll take that, yeah. I would like some, yeah, there you go. Girl, when you talk intelligently, you sound as beautiful as the sun. Thank you. I've tried my best. She's way too hot? AOC? I don't know if she's way too hot. I think her hotness is just good. I don't think she's too hot. I don't think she's not hot enough. I think her hotness is just in the Goldilocks zone, like planet Earth. You know how planet Earth is in that Goldilocks zone or whatever the scientists say, where like we're far away enough from the sun that we don't die from death beams like, Venus or whatever, right? But we're not too far away from the sun, so we're like Jupiter and we're like, we're gaseous or whatever. Or we're not like Neptune and we're also gaseous or whatever the fuck, right? Like we are in the Goldilocks zone. I think AOC is the Goldilocks zone, personally. That's what I think. So, there you go. Also, AOC, if you want to come on the program, let me know. And let me know, AOC, if you would like to come on the program. And I mean that in one way and one way only. So, anyway, let's move on. So, big news came out over the course of the last 24 hours about the Joe Biden administration. And I would love to spend this moment on my show. I've got a text message that ruined the introduction to this clip. Thank you very much. Thank you for sending me that textual message. Anyway, so now that I can get back on with my program, and no, I will not edit that out, let's talk about Neera Tanden. So I got a couple of articles because I know Neera Tanden decently well. She's one of my least favorite kind of like corporate ghouls. Out of all the corporate ghouls that I know, Neera Tanden is probably the most insufferable, the most hypocritical, and just like an overall terrible person. So here's an article from 2 years ago. So I just want to say Joe Biden has nominated Neera Tanden, or is going to nominate, for the Office of like Budget and Management or something like that. And so this is an article from 2 years ago. The Center for American Progress staff was shocked after Neera Tanden named the anonymous harassment victim in an all-staff meeting. So imagine, right? Someone is sexually harassing you at work. Maybe they grabbed your titty or something, or they're making lewd remarks. And you go to the president of your company and you say, "Can you do something about this? Like, I feel uncomfortable. I really want to, quit my job. This is really awful. Like, can you help me get a transfer? Can you fire this guy?" Right? And then the president of this company is like, "I hear you. I see you." And then they hold an all-staff meeting and then expose you. Like what? Like, right? And this is just one example of this dumb fucking whore being just a disgusting example of just all the things that are wrong with American politics, okay? Like, she's a woman. That means she's progressive? What? That's what Joe Biden's trying to say. Joe Biden is trying to have this, like, all-female chief executive staff or whatever. And he's trying to tout it as like, "Oh, look how progressive I am. I'm progressive. Look at me. I'm so progressive." Right? And I've got a few articles lined up today, and I just want you to know, Neera Tanden is not progressive. She might be the Center for American Progress as president, but that's one of those things. Again, progress, similarly to how with the Trump supporters, liberty, like freedom, those words don't mean anything. They mean nothing. Like when you ask what a Trump supporter means when they say freedom, right, you're going to get 15 different and opposing answers, right? And none of them are going to make any sense. And if you ask, right, one of these corporate ghouls or these corporate gangsters what the word progress means, they're just going to say, "Oh, well, I have a woman on my staff, so I'm progressive." That's what this means. So again, progress, progressive, it doesn't mean anything. In a world where Elizabeth Warren is a progressive, the word progressive doesn't mean a damn fucking thing. So, Let's read. This is 2 years ago. So again, 2 days after the BuzzFeed News unveiled allegations of sexual harassment and retaliation at one of the nation's top liberal think tanks, the Center for American Progress's president, Neera Tanden, met with staff to restore confidence in the organization's ability to handle the issue and ensure that the employees feel safe. But during the meeting Wednesday afternoon, again, this is 2 years ago, but still, Tanden named the anonymous victim at the center of that story. What? A revelation that a CAP spokesperson said was unintentional? What? Again, oh, whoops, I accidentally exposed someone's safety. My bad. It's like, what? That's like, you should be fired immediately. You should resign instantly in shame. But she hasn't for whatever reason. And what began as a tense meeting became what 3 staffers in the room described as a textbook example of the organization's failures to appropriately handle sexual harassment cases. There is literally one thing you cannot do in this meeting, and that is out the victim, and Neera did it multiple times. So Neera's defense is that she apologized immediately, but another person that was there says that she did it multiple times. So how do you apologize and then do it again and again, right? It doesn't make any sense. It also destroys whatever small level of confidence in the system remained, one CAP employee who was in the room said in a text to BuzzFeed News. As a manager, I don't know how I can tell staff to trust the system when the head of the organization just outed the victim in front of the entire organization. It is impossible to trust her. Again, these are the people that worked for her, right? Like, you know, like when you're like hiring a new employee, right? And they give you like references and you call those references. Now imagine those references were saying, holy shit, please do not hire this person. They're garbage. Are you going to hire them? Well, if you do, chances are you're a dullard. At Joe Biden. Neera lost the organization today. Another CAP employee who was in the meeting said, there was so much angst in that room. She outed the victim, and the subject of every question was a lack of confidence in her leadership and ability to create trust within the organization. In a statement to BuzzFeed News, a CAP spokesperson said that Tanden unintentionally said the complainants, Jesus, I've never pronounced that word before, I don't think. First name in the meeting today, and immediately and profusely apologized for it. Again, if you can do it multiple times, an apology at that point doesn't mean anything. She feels awful that it happened, and the victim's negative experience was compounded. She also expressed that the victim's actions in coming forward were courageous. Neera's honor was very evident in the meeting, the spokesperson said. So you can read this entire article yourself, and I would definitely say that you should. But this is the person that Joe Biden is trying to shove down our throats, saying that she's progressive. She's not progressive, okay? This person is garbage. This person is trash, all right? Pure and utter trash. And I've got a lot of examples of this garbage that I would like to show on this day. But for now, let's just leave it at this one. Jesus, though. What a terrible person. Like, I cannot even imagine, like, a situation where you're in, like, the worst move at the worst time for what, like, your whole LARP is, you know? It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Work time for James. That's me! Let's hope no one else got COVID. Good luck, Y2K, huh? She's planning on the Xmas bonus. I guess, right? She is centra-right, like most neoliberals. I mean, duh, right? But, like, you know, she's trying to identify as, oh, I'm a progressive. Look at me. I love progress. I'm the president of a progressive organization. I love progress. I love it. Progress. I'm progressive, and then we have progress, and then, you know, progressively progressing and all that. We're just progressive, bro. I'm progressive, bro. Above it all, cleaning out the cabinet. Spin-off series coming soon. Oh my god, cleaning out the cabinet. That's really good. Yeah, so I got one more thing I'd like to talk about as far as Neera Tanden. I think it's like equally as bad. Well, actually, no. It depends on the context. But it's still pretty bad. This is like bad stuff, dude. This is no good. Okay, so Neera Tanden, who was just nominated, or is going to be nominated by Joe Biden for the Office of Management and Budget or whatever, punched a journalist for asking Hillary Clinton about the Iraq war. So here's a New York Times article. This is from April 15th, 2009. And the situation that I'm going to read is from 2008. All right? So, in 2008, Neera Tanden, then a top aide on Hillary Clinton's first presidential campaign, accompanied Mrs. Clinton to what was expected to be an easy interview at the Center for American Progress, the influential group founded by top Clinton aides. But Faiz Shakir, who, by the way, was the campaign manager for Bernie Sanders in 2020, the chief editor of the think tank's Think Progress website, asked Mrs. Clinton a question about the Iraq War, an issue dogging her candidacy because she had supported it. Mrs. Tanden responded by circling back to Mr. Shakir after the interview and, according to a person in the room, punching him in the chest. What? I didn't slug him. I pushed him, a still angry Mrs. Tanden corrected in a recent interview. But again, like, you can read the rest of this article yourself. But right? The idea, right, that this is a person that we're like, this is a progressive. This is someone who's a president of a progressive think. What? They punched a journalist for asking a presidential candidate about the Iraq War. That's as far as I'm concerned, that's disqualifying. As far as I'm concerned, you should be nowhere near public service at that point. You literally assaulted a journalist for asking a question about a war that at the time in 2008 was still very much so in like the heat of it, right? Like, people were still very against the war. Now at this point, the war is just part of American culture. People don't even know we're at war. If you ask a majority, that's why you have Trump supporters out there that say no more wars, because they don't even know that there's still wars going on. But in 2008, people, I think, had a decent idea that there was like a lot of illegal wars going on. So the idea that you would punch a journalist for asking a question about the Iraq War, and then this person's going to have the audacity to call themselves progressive? What? But I've got some other stuff here that I want to talk about. So here's an example of Neera Tanden defending the mechanisms behind which tanked the labor's efficacy in the 2019 general election in the United Kingdom. She did this epic tweet where she was signing on about a letter, concerns for anti-Semitism. As an American, I don't even live in this country, but I'm so concerned about the anti-Semitism that this letter has been written by so many I admire, including John blah 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 blah. Labour's anti-Semitism problem should have been rooted out long ago. She shared this dumbass fucking garbage, right? This person's not a progressive, this person's garbage, right? So, as Brianna Joy Gray on Twitter loves to point out, as COVID cases spike, Joe Biden hires Neera Tanden, who questioned CDC recommendations not to congregate in large groups and pushed in-person voting in March. So do you remember in March when the Joe Biden campaign, by the way, Simone Sanders, who also did this, was also nominated to a position by Joe Biden, right? Or at least is going to be nominated, whatever the technical thing is. They both were COVID deniers up until the month of May. These people didn't believe in coronavirus until May. In March, they didn't believe in coronavirus. So, in March, Brianna Joy Gray, who at that time was Bernie Sanders' press secretary, said on Twitter, Simone Sanders just said on CNN with Chris Cuomo that the CDC said it's safe to vote on Tuesday. That is wrong. So again, I actually covered that on my channel. You can go back and watch the video. And then Neera Tanden sarcastically says, is the Sanders campaign telling people not to vote? Again, do you remember when there was this big push for mail-in votes during the primary, and the Biden campaign was like, no mail-ins, no, mail-ins are bad, mail-ins are evil, they're bad, they're terrible, we gotta vote in person, no more mail-ins are evil. Remember that? When the DNC threatened states, saying, if you postpone your primary, we're going to remove delegates from you and make you less influential in the primary process. Do you remember that? Joe Biden was on that team that said, no, mail-in ballots are bad. Couple months later, all of a sudden, mail-in ballots are good? Isn't that interesting? All of a sudden, when now you're going up against Donald Trump, you love mail-in ballots. In-person voting is evil now, right? But back in March, when you conveniently didn't believe in germs, At that point, who cared, right? But yeah, this is a progressive, apparently. So Sam Cedar put out a really good tweet, right? I love this one. Because what does everyone hate about Donald Trump, right? If you ask random liberals, oh, he tweets too much. Oh, Donald Trump is on Twitter, right? Donald Trump sucks because he tweets all the time. Well, this is interesting. Fun fact, since 2009, when he joined, Donald Trump has tweeted 58,000 times. Since 2010, when she joined, Neera Tanden has tweeted 87,000 times. But I thought Twitter was the problem. I thought being a disgusting, grotesque, evil son of a bitch on Twitter was the problem. But I guess not when it comes to Neera Tanden. So I got some other stuff here. So on the day that white supremacists murdered a protester on August 12th, 2017, this is what Neera Tanden had to say. White supremacists running through the streets? Well, I'm more concerned about the alt-left, right? Have you criticized those on the alt-left who want to join with the fascists? There are plenty of ways to find them. What? Right. When these people, these tiki torch-bearing motherfuckers, were murdering a protester, she was more concerned with the alt-left. This is someone who identifies as progressive, by the way. So here's another example of Neera Tanden in January. By the way, remember when she outed a sexual harassment victim at her own company, by the way? Remember that? Remember that? The Center for American Progress staff was shocked after Neera Tanden named the anonymous harassment victim in an all-staff meeting. Isn't that interesting, right? So in January of 2020, when Elizabeth Warren said that Bernie Sanders said that Elizabeth Warren could never be president because she's a woman, she tweeted out, "Believe women, unless it doesn't work for your political ambition," apparently. She was comparing the idea that, women are, assaulted in the workplace or raped in the workplace, right? She is comparing that to a political assassination attempt by Elizabeth Warren that failed, right? That's what she is comparing that to. Reminder, just 2 years ago, she outed a sexual harassment victim at her own company, all right? So this is the same person that we're talking about. And then this is what she said, just, conveniently a couple months later, when Tara Reid was trying to make the rounds. Hey, Joe Biden's bad. Hey, Joe Biden raped me. All of a sudden, just a reminder, the idea that an accusation is prima facie evidence of guilt is what put many black men in jail or worse in the South. Joan Walsh's piece stood the test of time. That much is clear. So, believe women, unless it doesn't work for your ambition, apparently. Neera Tanden said. And isn't it interesting that I've got all these examples of Neera Tanden saying horrendous garbage, right? That's not the same thing. Okay, so isn't it weird that I've got all of these examples of Neera Tanden saying just absolute horrendous garbage? Here's Neera Tanden in the year 2010 saying, "Oh, Social Security? Well, Social Security. I'm not a huge fan of Social Security. Let's get rid of it."
More balanced approach on budgets where they've looked at taxes as well as reforming programs and cutting programs. And so I think that's the approach the American people are supporting.
There's a viewer here who wants you to take us deep.
I feel like Neera Tanden, for whatever reason, especially 2010, Neera Tanden reminds me of Julia Louis-Dreyfus a little bit, and it makes me uncomfortable. Does anyone else have that same reaction? It makes me a little uncomfortable. Just throwing that out there.
Deeper into entitlements by Twitter. Ms. Tanden, do you know what the president means when he says entitlements are on the table? Any specifics and anything you would endorse?
Yeah, so there are a range of entitlements that, I think when we're talking about entitlements, we're talking about Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid. These are programs that people receive support because of the status that they have. So when after 65, you get funding from Social Security and Medicare. Actually, it's grown.
The entitlements. Aren't those people that paid into Social Security for 65? They're so entitled. Aren't they just the most entitled little babies? Yeah, they paid our taxes for 60 years. Look how entitled they are. This is what she thinks. This is someone who they're trying to tell us is progressive. Medicare? Oh, you oldies. Why are you so entitled? Sure, you paid taxes for your entire working life, and now you want to enjoy the benefits that those taxes paid for, but we gotta cut them, because you're so entitled. Disgusting.
It's getting older for Social Security, but
disgusting.
And the president has $300 billion in his budget in cuts in Medicare. That comes on top of cuts in Medicare from the Affordable Care Act. So he has put specific cuts in the budget already.
So this is her going on television saying Social Security, a Democrat, let's get rid of it. Remember, Joe Biden was on that too. Do you want to know, by the way, who stopped the Obama administration? Mostly who stopped them from cutting Social Security? Bernie Sanders. In 2013, Bernie Sanders organized a lot, right? In 2012, actually, also, he was floating that someone should primary Barack Obama because Barack Obama was such a disappointment. In 2013, he did a bunch of public events to try to pressure the Obama administration publicly to not cut Social Security. This was on their agenda. A Democrat was like, fuck Social Security. They're entitled. They're entitled. All those retirees that paid taxes to our government for 50 years, they're entitled. Entitled little babies they are. Let's get rid of their health care. Let's get rid of their money. Let's get rid of their retirement fund because they're so entitled. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But this is someone who they're going to they're telling us this is progressive. Yeah. She's a woman. Fuck yeah, buddy. Is because her being a woman, does that make her entitled to the label of progressive? Interesting. Really makes you think. But that's Neera Tanden. I'll be doing a lot more hit pieces on Neera Tanden very soon. And I might do some of these in more detail pretty soon. But fuck this. Fuck that. This is like, as far as my personal frustration goes, maybe I'll do Simone Sanders and Rahm Emanuel over the next couple days too. But Neera Tanden, Jesus Christ, what a fucking loser. Right? I didn't really know that much about Neera Tanden until maybe late 2018, early 2019 when the primaries were starting up this time around. And it's every time I saw a tweet from her, it was a different opinion. Again, believe women unless it doesn't work for your political ambition. And then a couple of months later, all the women coming out against Joe Biden, they're wrong, they're lying, they're wrong. Oh, by the way, I just outed a sexual harassment victim at my own company, but believe women. Oh, but you gotta believe women. Put on the hat. The Women's March. You gotta believe them. Except, when they work for my company, then I could just make fun of them in public. Then that's fine. Disgusting. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyone who supports Neera Tanden, I'm sorry, but that's cancel culture thing. I will support canceling anybody that is in favor of Neera Tanden for anything other than jail, as far as I'm concerned. But, there you go. That's my show for today. I'm sorry I had technical difficulties. But I've got a prior engagement coming up relatively soon. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to stop the stream. The stream is going to be over in a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean right now. So thank you for watching. I will be back at my regular time tomorrow. So if you're just coming in here because you didn't read my fucking little notice that I had and that I said 15 times, if you're just coming in here, hello, you missed it, dullard, but don't worry, tomorrow I'll be there at the normal time. We're good, everything's fine. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Thank you. Hopefully I can fix whatever this problem is with my machine. But fuck Neera Tanden, right?
The truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was. In a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was. In a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was. In a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more. The truth of the matter is that the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was. The truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my, the truth of the matter is that the truth of the matter is in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
Look, talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools. School, not daycare. School for schools. The Title I schools. School, not daycare. School for schools. The Title I schools. To help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone, the phone. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Very poor school, a very poor background will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. We bring in to help the student, the teachers. They have every problem coming to them. Does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. Look, we talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help, they don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back. Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back.